Alright guys, so in the last video we went ahead and took our I took our model, our listings model, and took out all the objects from the database and passed them into the template. We also looped through those listings, but for right now we're just outputting static HTML for each one. We're basically outputting the same exact thing for every listing that's in the database. Okay, you'll see we have 6 here, which is correct. There's 6 in the database. As you can see, we added 6, but there's no dynamic data here. So that's what we need to do now, is fix that. So let's go to listings.html and go inside our for loop here and just replace all this static data with dynamic variables. And we can do that by, let's take this title for example. We can do that by using double curly braces. Okay, so that's the template syntax for this. Now, when we loop through, we said for listing in listings. Okay, remember, listings is what we passed into the template, and we're saying for every instance, or every iteration, I should say, we're going to call it listing. Okay, so we can say listing, and then we can access whatever property we want. So here we want the title, so listing.title. So if I save this and I go back and reload, and we look at the titles, you'll see that now they're all different. Okay, so now they're actually reflecting the correct titles that you can see here that are in the database. So we want to do that with every field that's here. So another one we want to do is the image. Now, Django makes it really easy by using that, remember that image field that we used. It makes it very easy because we can simply just do our syntax here, and we can say listing, and then the name of the image field, which in this case is main. What was it? Main photo? Was it main photo or photo main? It was photo main. So let's do listing dot photo underscore main, and then we just want to do dot URL. So if I save that and we go back and reload, now we get all of our images. So these are the correct images that were uploaded. So now let's do the price. Let's leave the dollar sign and let's do listing dot price. Okay, so we'll go back and check. Now it worked, it's getting the correct number, but we want commas here. Okay, this doesn't look very professional. So you have a couple options for this. One simple option is to use something called Humanize. It's actually an app that is not included by default in the settings, but we can include it and then we can use it, and it has a method called int comma that we can just simply tack on to listing.price. So what we're going to do is go into our settings. So let's see, we're going to go to btre settings.py. I know there's a lot of files here. It can get kind of confusing. That's one thing I don't really like about the Django structure. It always seems to just be just a ton of files if it's a big application. But what we want to do is go up to our installed apps. Okay, so right here, installed apps, and I'm going to go on to the end here, and I'm going to do Django.contrib.humanize. Okay, so that will just allow us to use Humanize. Now we're going to save it and go back to our listings, and we actually have to load it. So up here, we're going to put in our syntax like that. We're going to say load Humanize. Okay, now we have access to a whole host of different functions that we can pipe on to different values. So let's find our price right here, and we want to just add a pipe character and then int comma. Okay, let's save that and let's see if it works. So we'll reload, and there we go. It automatically puts the comma where it needs to go. All right, and if we actually, I just want to show you something real quick. If you search for Django Humanize, so this will actually show you, here's int comma, this is what we just used, and it shows you what it does, converts an integer or float, adds commas. We have this AP number, so return the number spelled out. There's a whole bunch of cool functions that you can use with this Humanize, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish the rest of our fields. So what else do we have here that needs to be added? Right here we have the full address. Now remember, these are separate fields: city, state, zip code. So here we're going to do listing dot city, and I'm just going to actually copy this, and then this is going to be the state, and then this is going to be the zip. Okay, let's go down here, square feet. So this was, I believe, SQFT, garage. Paste this in, and we'll say listing dot garage. And what else? We got bedrooms and bathrooms. So listing dot bedrooms, listing dot bathrooms. Okay, let's see, we have the realtor. So since this is actually really cool, since we have a relationship between the realtor and the listing, we can just simply say realtor, and whatever we put in the model for the realtor, let me just check real quick just to show you. If we go to realtors and models.py, this right here, self.name, is where we claimed what we want to display here if we just do .realtor, which is really cool. So that should display the name. Now this 2 days ago, to be able to do this, we can actually use part of humanize, which is time since. So I'm going to just get rid of that, and we're going to say, let's paste this in, it's going to be list date. That's what it is in the database, list underscore date, and then we can put a pipe in and we can say time since, and that'll actually do exactly what we need. All right, so let's save that and let's check it out. Okay, so everything should be different for each listing. We have the address, square feet, garage, all that stuff. And notice the time since, it actually gives you the hours. So 1 day, 4 hours, which is pretty cool. It gives you the realtor's name. So everything seems to be intact. All right, now let's see. This right here just goes to listing HTML. That's obviously not what we want. I'm trying to figure out if this would work yet, because we don't have our route for a single listings, right? We didn't do that yet. Let me just double check. So URLs, oh, we did. So this route here, or this URL, is listing or listings slash and then whatever the ID. So that's what we want this button to go to. Whoops, we want to go back to this, and instead of just listing HTML, which doesn't make sense, we want to put in our tags, and we want to do URL, and we want to say listing, and it needs to have an ID parameter. So right here we can say listing.id, and that should take us to the correct listing. So let's save this and see if it works. If we reload, now if I hover over this and you look down in the left in the corner, you'll see listings /2. This one's listings /4/5, so it just gives you the ID. If I click on it, we get this error. So what it's saying here is the listing method got an unexpected keyword argument of listing ID. So I can show you exactly why we're getting this error. It's because in the URLs we passed in listing ID, and this is for the listing method, okay, which is in views.py, which is right here. Now when you pass in a parameter like that, you also need to pass it in here. So we need to actually pass in listing underscore ID. So if I save that and we go back and reload, that fixes that error, and it loads the listing.html template, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But I think what I want to do next is handle the pagination. Okay, so I don't want just a never-ending list of properties, of listings. I want to be able to page through them. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to show you how we can implement that, and also how we can style it to look like Bootstrap pagination like this. So we don't just have like an ugly looking next and previous or whatever. We can actually have it look nice. It might not look exactly like this, but it will look similar. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.